My friends invited me to gather at a bar and play truth or dare. My fiancée's childhood playmate lost, and the two of them drank a cross-cupped wine together. After she put down her glass, a trace of panic flickered in her eyes. Christopher, I only see Damien as a younger brother. It's just a game. Don't overthink it. Everyone looked at me with complicated expressions. I kept a blank face and gestured for the game to continue. In the next round, I lost. The dare was to kiss any woman present. My childhood friend was very cooperative and leaned over on her own. Without thinking, I kissed her. When our lips finally parted, I looked at my trembling with rage fiancé with a teasing smile. I've always treated Vanessa as a younger sister. It's just a game. Don't overthink it. I didn't expect my fiancée to lose her mind on the spot. Main text. Inside the bar's private booth, the lighting was hazy and the music low. A group of us were playing truth or dare. Damien lost and drew a dare card. Drink a cross-cupped wine with any woman present. He hesitated barely a second before his gaze fell straight on my fiancée. Gardenia. Gardenia. I just got back to the country not long ago. You're the one I'm familiar with. Please save me here. I just don't know if Chris will get mad. As he spoke, he didn't forget to shoot me a provocative glance. I acted as though I didn't see his provocation. A meaningful smile curled at the corner of my lips. Since they wanted to play, then I would play along properly. A fiancée wasn't irreplaceable. There was no need for me to insist on marrying her. Seeing that I didn't speak, Gardenia casually waved her hand. Oh come on, why would he get mad? Christopher isn't that petty. Whether from alcohol or something else, a soft blush spread across Gardenia's cheeks. She glanced at me, seeing that I wasn't reacting. A hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Still, she was quite composed. Picking up her glass and drinking the cross-cupped wine with Damien, she set down her glass and frowned slightly. Christopher, I only see Damien as a younger brother. It's just a game. Don't overthink it. The atmosphere at the table fell into a strange silence. Everyone looked at me with complicated expressions. Someone coughed to cover the awkwardness. Someone else lowered their head, pretending to fiddle with their phone. Most people's eyes darted back and forth among the three of us. Only Vanessa, my little childhood friend sitting beside me, seemed quite delighted. A sweet smile remained on her lips the entire time. I waved my hand. Why is everyone looking at me? Continue. Continue. Fate can be ironic sometimes. To think the next loser turned out to be me. The card flipped over, and the words read, "Kiss any woman present." My childhood friend was very cooperative. She even glanced provocatively at Gardenia before leaning in. "Chris, we grew up together. I guess I can reluctantly let you kiss me. I just don't know if Gardenia will get mad." I smiled brightly. "Don't worry. Your Gardenia is so magnanimous. How could she possibly get angry?" I didn't hesitate. I pulled her into my arms and kissed her directly on the lips. When our lips separated, I looked at my trembling with rage fiancé with a teasing expression. "I've always treated Vanessa as a younger sister. It's just a game. Don't overthink it." Gardenia's eyes instantly turned red. She shot up from her seat, glaring at me, as if I had done something unforgivably monstrous. With a sharp paw, she slammed her glass onto the floor. Shards and golden liquor splattered everywhere. The people around were startled and quickly stepped back. Damien snapped out of his shock. He looked righteously furious. "Christopher, Gardenia is right here. And you kissed another girl. Don't you think that's going too far?" "Christopher." Gardenia gritted her teeth, her voice nearly bursting my eardrums. "You must give me a reasonable explanation." I swirled the wine in my glass, lifted my gaze, and looked at her with mocking coldness. "An explanation? What explanation? It's just a game. Can't you be a little more magnanimous? You're making a scene in front of everyone. Do you think it's fun? I've always treated Vanessa as a younger sister. If anything were happening between us, why would I be with you?" I rubbed my temples and continued. "Gardenia, stop acting like a resentful woman, doubting everything. Do you know how exhausting this is for me?" Every word was exactly what she had told me after Damien came back. Now, like a boomerang, they landed back on her heart with brutal precision. Gardenia's face instantly went pale. She stared at me in disbelief, as if she couldn't believe these words came out of my mouth. The pretentious coquette little childhood friend next to me let out a timely sigh. Her eyes turned red instantly, her voice soft and fragile. "Gardenia, don't take it to heart. Chris and I grew up together, and when we were young, we often slept in the same bed. Chris and I are completely innocent. Nothing ever happened. If I'm affecting your relationship, I can leave." I hurriedly grabbed Vanessa, who was pretending to walk away, and frowned at Gardenia. "Gardenia, you scared Vanessa. Apologize to her right now." Gardenia froze as if struck by lightning. Her gaze shifted back and forth between me and Vanessa. Finally, it landed on my hand gripping Vanessa's wrist. "Apologize." She suddenly laughed, pointing at Vanessa, her laughter filled with bitter sorrow. "Christopher, you're asking me to apologize to her?" Vanessa shrank beside me, her voice trembling with tears. Chris, please don't do this. It's all my fault. Don't fight because of me. Do you hear that? I stared at Gardenia coldly. Vanessa is so kind, she's still thinking for you even now. And you, besides making a scene, what else can you do? Looking at Gardenia's furious, ashen face, I felt indescribably satisfied. Your little childhood sweetheart only came back a few days ago. Yet you lied to me about working overtime and went out to eat and watch a movie with him. And now, in front of all these people, you drink cross-cupped wine with him. What? Is it only allowed for you to flirt with your little playmate, but I can't spend time with mine? Gardenia, don't be such a hypocrite. Gardenia clenched her teeth so hard it seemed they might shatter, yet she couldn't refute a single word. In the end, she bit down hard, turned around, and stormed out, slamming the door. Damien glared at me with venom in his eyes before hurrying after her. I filled my glass to the brim and drained it in one go. My thoughts drifted back to the first time I met Gardenia. Back in college, Gardenia had eyes only for me. Everyone said she was my little tail. After basketball practice, she always rushed over first to bring me water. She brought me breakfast made with love every morning. Every day she arrived early to class just to save me a seat. In my sophomore year of college, I sprained my ankle while playing basketball. My ankle swelled up as thick as my thigh. She spent more than half a month taking care of me in the hospital, running around tirelessly. When I was finally discharged, she had lost a noticeable amount of weight, yet she was as happy as a fool. Circling around me, she said, "Christopher, from now on I'll be your little crutch." In that moment, her smile outshone all the flowers in the world. That year at the New Year's Gala, she wore a white dress and went on stage to sing, breathtakingly beautiful. After the performance, she didn't leave the stage. Instead, she confessed to me in front of the entire school, "Christopher, I like you, really like you, so much. I want to be with you, never part for the rest of our lives. Will you be my boyfriend?" Thunderous applause and screams rose like ocean waves. I'm the type of person who warms up slowly. I watched her standing on that stage. The light in her eyes brighter than any spotlight. The burning affection in her gaze made my heart tremble violently. Under everyone's expectant eyes, I rushed onto the stage and pulled her tightly into my arms. Her burning tears dripped onto my neck. She said, "Christopher, I finally waited long enough for you." In that instant, all the cheers in the auditorium seemed to fade away. My world was filled only with her tearful smile. She was so brave. Under the gaze of thousands, she offered me a sincere heart without holding back. I silently swore to myself that I would never let her suffer in this lifetime. After that, we became the most enviable couple on campus. She loved to loop her arm through mine, skipping lightly as she walked, like a child who would never grow up. Every time I looked down at her, her face was always lit up with a bright smile, as if I were her whole world. After graduation, we moved in together. At that time, I was busy building my startup. She learned to cook, clumsy and often hurting herself. Every time, my heart ached for a long while. I would pull her onto my lap and carefully bandage her wounds. I said, "Gardenia, why don't we just eat outside from now on?" She pouted at me. "No, I only want you to eat the food I make." Her pouting expression was so cute, I couldn't help leaning down to kiss her. For my birthday that year, she secretly prepared for more than half a month. She invited all our mutual friends. She cooked an entire table full of dishes by herself, just to give me a huge surprise, and I loved her more and more. At night, I turned down as many social engagements as I could, just to spend more time with her. I accompanied her to watch movies, go shopping, attend concerts. For every holiday, I prepared gifts for her with great care. When I had free time, I even cooked for her myself, making her delicious dishes. The day I proposed, my palms were so sweaty from nerves. She covered her mouth, tears streaming down, nodding hard before throwing herself into my arms. She said, "Christopher, I've waited 6 whole years for this day." But just 2 months before our wedding, her childhood playmate Damien returned to the country, and everything seemed to change. Her 9-to-5 job had never once required overtime in all those years. Yet recently, she kept using overtime as an excuse and was coming home later and later. At first, I didn't suspect anything, until a stranger added me as a friend, saying he was Gardenia's childhood playmate. He sent me loads of photos. It turned out she had been with Damien this whole time, shopping with him, watching movies, going to concerts. Their intimate posture looked exactly like lovers. I desperately called Gardenia, but she rejected every call. Later, she simply turned off her phone. It wasn't until nearly midnight that Damien brought a staggering, drunken Gardenia back. Her entire body was practically draped over Damien's arms. Damien looked at me provocatively. "You're Christopher, right? Don't blame Gardenia. I was just in a bad mood and dragged her to drink a little more. If you want to blame someone, blame me. It's all my fault." Seeing my expression darken, Gardenia sobered up quite a bit. She quickly pushed Damien away and turned back to glare at me. Christopher, Damien is still just a kid. Who are you giving that scary face to? Don't you know you frightened him? Suppressing my fury, I shoved the photos he sent right in front of her. A kid. He's only 1 or 2 years younger than us. A 26 or 27-year-old kid. He even sent me provocative photos. And you call that a kid? Do you think I'm stupid? Gardenia's eyes flickered, and she looked away. I swept my hand across the table and sent the ceramic figurines we made together flying, smashing them into pieces on the floor. Gardenia, you've been lying to me about working overtime every day just to go fool around with your childhood playmate. She suddenly grew flustered and angry, her voice rising sharply. Christopher, I just didn't want you to overthink. When did you become so unreasonable? Can't you stop being jealous? I've always treated Damien as a younger brother. If anything were happening between us, why would I have stayed with you all these years? Christopher, stop acting like a resentful man, doubting everything. Do you know how exhausting this is for my heart? I'm unreasonable. I'm a resentful man. I looked at the woman who once had eyes only for me, and suddenly she felt like a stranger. That very night, we slept in separate rooms. For the next week, we were locked in a cold war. My startup company hadn't issued dividends over the years, using all profits to expand operations instead. This year marked our explosive growth, performance skyrocketing exponentially. We were planning to ring the bell and go public next year. I didn't have the time or energy to deal with Gardenia anymore. I threw myself completely into work. Gardenia seemed to realize she had gone a bit too far. During that week, Damien looked for her many times, but she rejected him each time. Instead, she began coming home early after work, just like before. A week later, Gardenia took the initiative to hug me. Christopher, I was wrong. I shouldn't have lied to you, but Damien is in late-stage cancer. He doesn't have long to live. I just wanted to stay with him a little more during the final stage of his life. Don't be mad anymore. Okay. Hearing her words, I only felt she was unbelievably gullible. Damien looked perfectly healthy, could go shopping, drink alcohol. Which part of him looked like someone with late-stage cancer? But I no longer wanted to argue with her. When I learned that Damien would also attend this gathering, I knew immediately he would not behave. Since she insisted on bringing her little childhood playmate, I brought my little childhood friend too, who doesn't have a childhood sweetheart. After the gathering ended, Vanessa held onto my arm and acted spoiled. Chris, how did I do tonight? I didn't disappoint you, right? I fondly patted her head. Perfect, perfect. I didn't expect that after all these years. Your pretentious coquette skills have only gotten better. Vanessa lifted her chin proudly, as if saying, of course. All right, Chris, I'm heading home first. Call me whenever you need something. I guarantee satisfaction. Vanessa only drank juice tonight, so she drove herself home. I called for a designated driver. When I got home, Gardenia was sitting alone on the sofa, staring blankly into space, with no lights on. The pale moonlight stretched her shadow long across the floor. With a click, I turned on the lights. The entire living room lit up as bright as day. Only then did I notice Gardenia's red eyes. She looked like she had just cried. Christopher, can we talk? Her voice was hoarse, and beneath it was an undeniable exhaustion. I walked to the sofa opposite her and sat down, my tone distant. Talk about what? Your late-stage cancer childhood brother, or about my little childhood sister? Gardenia suddenly grew angry. Christopher, don't tell me she's your so-called sister. As a woman myself, I can see perfectly well what kind of eyes she uses to look at you. Don't think I can't tell. I looked at her mockingly. Oh, really? And you think I can't tell what kind of eyes Damien uses to look at you? Gardenia froze, tears shimmering in her eyes. Christopher, you brought Vanessa just to spite me, didn't you? I already told you, Damien is in late-stage cancer. The doctor said he might only have 3 months left. He just wants me to accompany him more during his final days. What's wrong with that? Why must you be so petty? I let out a cold laugh. Late-stage cancer? Which part of him looks like he has cancer? He says something and you just believe it. Fine. Let's say he is in late-stage cancer. Does he not have any other family? Must you accompany him every day? Gardenia opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. Just then, her phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed Damien's name. She picked up, and instantly panicked. Damien, what happened? Why are you in the hospital? Okay, wait for me. I'll be right there. Gardenia grabbed her bag and rushed out the door in a panic, as if she had forgotten my existence entirely, not even sparing me a glance. At that moment, I completely gave up on her. I pulled out my phone and called my parents, informing them to cancel the wedding. My parents panicked instantly, asking if something had happened. Gardenia had met my parents before Damien returned. She had always treated my parents very well. She called on every holiday to check on their health. She often mailed clothes and gifts to them. 3 months ago, my parents came to City A for a visit. At that time, An urgent issue came up at my company that required my presence. When Gardenia found out, she didn't hesitate. She took 3 days off immediately. She accompanied my parents for all 3 days. She took them to popular attractions, helped them take photos, and let them try all sorts of local food. After returning home, my parents called me specifically to say they were extremely satisfied with such a thoughtful and gentle future daughter-in-law. They had been urging us to get married soon. They told me not to disappoint such a good girl and also to let them have a grandchild earlier. Of course, I agreed immediately. Then I began planning the proposal. I never expected that once Damien returned, she would change completely. I told my parents everything that had happened recently. They remained silent on the phone for a long time before sighing and saying they would respect my decision. It seemed they were truly heartbroken as well. After hanging up, I called my private investigator. Help me look into someone. Damien, I'll send you all his personal information. Even if I no longer married Gardenia, I would not let them off so easily. The next day, I needed to go overseas to negotiate a partnership project. Coincidentally, Vanessa was on her annual leave. I asked her if she was interested in traveling abroad. Vanessa agreed without even thinking. The project had already been negotiated long ago. This trip was merely to sign the contract and complete the formalities. I finished everything in a single day. On the second day overseas, I took Vanessa to a beach resort. When Vanessa removed the clothes wrapped around her body and revealed her sexy bikini, my eyes widened. I didn't expect this girl to not only have an angelic face, but a figure this stunning. Truly a beauty from every angle. With her fair, long legs and defined abs, I nearly had a nosebleed. Noticing my burning gaze, Vanessa spun around playfully, the waves washing over her ankles. Chris, I spent a long time picking out this bikini. Does it look good? I cleared my throat, quickly trying to hide my reaction. It looks good. It's just, there's too much fabric. Her cheeks flushed instantly, and she pretended to glare at me in anger. She leaned closer, her voice tinged with expectation. Then, am I prettier? Or is Gardenia prettier? You guess. Vanessa pouted and kept tugging on my arm, acting spoiled. She didn't stop until I finally said she was prettier. Only then did she let me go, fully satisfied. After that, we took a lot of photos together. Many of them looked extremely intimate. Vanessa insisted that I send her Gardenia's WeChat, my little childhood friend. Her pretentious coquette level was indeed very high. Back in high school, because I was good-looking, great at basketball, and also a top student, there were too many girls pursuing me to even count on both hands. Vanessa, under the excuse that I couldn't date early, volunteered to be the girl who guarded me from admirers. She stuck to me every single day, calling me Chris brother nonstop. She acted spoiled toward me in public, and often posted misleading updates on social media, wildly showing off affection, just to make those who liked me give up. And it worked. Under her protection, I focused entirely on studying throughout high school. Eventually, I made it into the university of my dreams. She, however, didn't do well on her exam, and she was heartbroken for a long time. Now that she wanted Gardenia's WeChat, I knew exactly what she was up to. She just wanted to provoke Gardenia, and I had no reason to refuse. At this point, I wished nothing more than to discuss that cheating pair. I immediately sent her both Gardenia's and Damien's contact information. Soon after, I saw Vanessa posting a WeChat update. 9 photos arranged in a grid, with the caption, Chris brother said I'm prettier than someone. Smiling and spinning emojis. She added 3 spinning emojis. The provocation was overflowing. Sure enough, less than half an hour later, Gardenia's calls began coming in like crazy. At that moment, wearing sunglasses, I lay on a beach chair sipping red wine. I simply pressed the mute button and tossed the phone aside, ignoring it completely. I wasn't about to let Gardenia ruin my vacation mood. Vanessa came running back from the shoreline barefoot. Water droplets slid down her long, smooth legs. Chris, why aren't you answering your phone? Just someone unimportant, not worth answering. I tossed her a towel, having fun. She dried her hair with the towel, her big eyes sparkling. Of course, but she leaned close to me, smiling foolishly. I think I just saw Gardenia going insane in the comments under my WeChat post. I raised a brow, grabbed my phone, and opened the moment's feed. Gardenia had spammed 7 or 8 comments under the 9-photo post. Vanessa, do you have no shame? Christopher, you bastard, are you actually with her? Where the hell are you two? Tell Christopher to answer my call right now or I'm really going to get angry. Vanessa, those photos were all staged on purpose, weren't they? Tell Christopher that he's doing this deliberately just to provoke me. How amusing. Tell him that his little play hard to get trick won't work on me. A city. Inside the hospital, lying on the bed, Damien looked furious as he saw the WeChat posts. Gardenia, you and Christopher are about to get married, yet he's out there messing around with another woman. I really feel bad for you. A hint of disdain flashed across Gardenia's face. Damien, don't worry. Christopher has loved me more and more over the years, and he's become more and more dependent on me. He would never do anything to betray me. He's only letting Vanessa post those photos because he's jealous of you and trying to make me upset. I really don't know how I didn't notice how childish he is. As if suddenly remembering something, Gardenia's eyes lit up. Damien, you're living alone outside, and I'm not at ease. After you're discharged this time, come stay at my place. It'll give Christopher a lesson and force him to face reality. Upon hearing this, Damien was overjoyed, though he didn't show a trace of it on his face. All right, Gardenia, I'll listen to you. Vanessa and I spent 3 days at the beach before flying back to the country. There were no signs of Gardenia having returned home. I enjoyed the peace, lay down on the bed, and took a satisfying nap. The next morning, I packed up all of Gardenia's belongings, planning to tell her to get out the moment she came back. I also planned to move within the month. All my company's profits over the years had been reinvested. This apartment was rented. After this month, I wouldn't renew the lease. With the company growing rapidly this year, I didn't have to live frugally like before. While I was on the overseas business trip, I'd already asked my assistant to look for new places. First, I would buy an apartment near the company. Once the company went public, I'd plan on getting a villa. Just as I finished packing Gardenia's things, the front door opened from outside. Gardenia walked in, supporting a rosy-cheeked Damien. Damien saw me and wore the same smug expression as always. Gardenia glanced at me and placed Damien's suitcase at the entrance. She looked at me and announced directly, "The doctor said Damien is physically weak and needs quiet rest. I don't feel at ease letting him live alone outside. From now on, he'll stay here with us. It'll be easier for me to take care of him." She paused, then quickly added, "Anyway, we have a spare room. It's just one more set of dishes at meal times." Damien clung to Gardenia's arm intimately and raised his brows at me. "Chris, I told Gardenia it wasn't necessary, but she insisted on having me stay here. I'm sure Chris won't mind, right?" Even though I had already decided to give up on Gardenia, looking at the woman I had loved for 6 years, listening to the words coming out of her mouth, I still felt shocked. She seemed like a complete stranger. Seeing I didn't respond, a flicker of anger flashed across Damien's eyes. "Gardenia, look, Chris won't even acknowledge us. Is he still playing his little hard-to-get trick?" Gardenia affectionately patted Damien's head. "Forget it. We don't need to bother with him. He's just that petty and always gets jealous." Damien lifted his foot and walked inside. "But Gardenia, we haven't even had breakfast. I'm getting a little hungry." Gardenia looked at me with clear displeasure. "Christopher, why are you standing there in a daze? Didn't you hear Damien say he's hungry? He's a guest. Aren't you going to make him some breakfast?" The smug look on Damien's face grew even stronger. He walked up to me, smiling as he said, "Well then, sorry to trouble you, Chris." "Oh right, I don't eat spicy food, and no cilantro." Before he even finished, I slapped him across the face. "Go eat shit. Damn pretentious coquette, I've been way too nice to you." Before he could react, I slapped him several more times, hard. The sharp pa-pa-pa of the slaps echoed nonstop. Then I kicked him, sending him flying. Damien crashed into the shoe cabinet with a loud bang. This Damien was surprisingly tough. Even so, he still scrambled back up immediately. His cheek was swollen high, and he stared at me with bloodshot eyes, as if ready to lunge at me and fight to the death. "Christopher, why, you dared to hit me." His roar was full of strength. There wasn't the slightest trace of someone sick or weak. Soon, he seemed to realize this himself. To maintain his act, he quickly collapsed back onto the floor and started wailing. "Gardenia, it hurts. Am I dying? Christopher, are you crazy?" Gardenia didn't notice anything wrong at all. She screamed and rushed over to support Damien, turning to glare at me. I looked at her coldly. "Gardenia, this is my home. Who allowed you to bring some random guy here?" I threw out the luggage I had already packed for her. "Get out. Seriously, you both disgust me. Get the hell out." Gardenia's eyes widened in disbelief. "Christopher, why, you're kicking me out?" I stared at her with a dark expression. "What? You brought another man home and still expect me to pretend nothing happened? I'm telling you, Gardenia, we're done. You and your so-called good little brother, do whatever the hell you want. Just don't come bother me again." Gardenia's face instantly turned pale. She bit her lip hard, tears shimmering in her eyes. "Christopher, listen to me. I can explain." Seeing this, Damien hurriedly clutched his chest and moaned loudly. "Gardenia, it hurts. I might be bleeding inside. Gardenia, do you think I'm going to die?" The moment Gardenia heard that, she panicked. She quickly helped Damien toward the door. "No, you'll be fine. Don't be scared. I'll take you to the hospital right now." When they reached the doorway, Gardenia suddenly turned back to look at me. "Christopher, I'll take what you said just now as words spoken in anger. Damien doesn't have much time left. His greatest wish is to have a grand wedding with me. Don't worry, I'm only holding a fake wedding with him to fulfill that wish. I'll still marry you in the end. You should calm down at home. With that, she rushed out with Damien. Watching their backs as they left, I knew this woman was beyond saving. At that moment, the private detective sent over all the gathered information. I opened it and immediately laughed. Hey, a fake wedding. Huh. Fine, I'll make sure to prepare a great gift for you both. My assistant worked efficiently and quickly helped me buy an apartment near the company. These past 2 days, I'd been busy moving. After taking Vanessa overseas for vacation last time, that girl had stuck to me even more. She kept sending me selfies, either in black stockings or white ones. As expected, she had completely figured out my preferences. Vanessa somehow found out that I had bought an apartment near the company. She immediately sent me a pitiful little video. In the video, she was dressed very lightly, the camera angled upward from below, perfectly emphasizing the height of those curves. The background was the rental apartment she shared with her best friend. Christopher, my company is right near yours. Can I live with you? My best friend is moving out now that she's got a boyfriend. I'm a little scared living alone, you know. I'm this pretty. What if something bad happens to me when I'm alone? As she spoke, she pretended to wipe her tears. Chris, when we were kids, you said you'd always take care of me. Sniff, did you forget? Sitting in my office, I felt a headache coming on. This girl had had me completely wrapped around her finger since childhood. I sighed and replied, all right, I'll pick you up after work. She sent back a playful emoji. Thank you, Chris, I knew you were the best to me. And so, in the days that followed, Vanessa and I began our cohabitation. This girl showed no restraint at home. Her clothing had less and less fabric each day. As soon as I got off work, I'd find her lying on the sofa, her fair, slender legs swinging casually. Sometimes she practiced yoga, various unbelievable poses, enough to make my blood boil. Truly deadly levels of temptation. But she was good at chores. She kept the place spotless. Her cooking skills were great too. She made all the dishes I loved. A week later, Gardenia and Damien really did hold their grand wedding. There was no way I'd miss such a spectacle. I took Vanessa with me to attend. The wedding hall was packed with guests, buzzing with noise. To avoid drawing attention, Vanessa and I chose the most inconspicuous corner to sit. Damien, wearing the groom's suit, moved among the guests. Basking in the blessings of relatives and friends, the wedding march suddenly began to play. Gardenia slowly appeared in a pure white wedding dress. There was a faint smile on her face. As she scanned the crowd and her gaze met mine, she flinched as if burned and quickly looked away. At that moment, Vanessa suddenly spoke, her voice tinged with a bit of sadness. Chris, if Gardenia turned back to you, would you forgive her? I froze for a moment and looked at her strangely. Of course not. We grew up together. Don't you know me? Once I make up my mind, nothing can change it. But for some reason, Vanessa's eyes instantly reddened. She didn't look at me. She just kept talking to herself. Chris, do you know why I kept stopping you from dating in high school? Without waiting for me to answer, she continued, because. Her voice was soft, carrying a faint melancholy. Because I already liked you back then. I was stunned. In her eyes now shimmered an emotion I had never seen before. All those years, I followed you around like a little tail, she said, chasing away every girl who tried to go after you. She let out a bitter smile. The truth is, I just selfishly wanted to monopolize your attention. In that moment, the noise of the wedding seemed to fade away instantly. My world held only her gentle voice and her slightly reddened eyes. Chris, later on you got into your dream university, but I couldn't keep up with you. Do you know, when the results came out, I secretly cried the whole night. She turned toward me, tears quietly sliding down. So I applied to a university in the same city as yours. Chris, do you know, during the New Year's Eve gala at your university in sophomore year, I was there too. I originally wanted to confess to you in person, but I was still a step too late. I watched you two hugging tightly on stage. I cried. I told myself, great. Chris finally found his happiness. After that, I contacted you less, but I still kept following your updates in secret. Chris, do you know something? I've worked this job for 3 years now, not because I really love it. It's because I wanted to be a little closer to you. At that moment, something twisted painfully inside my chest. I grabbed her soft little hand. She tried to pull away at first, but when she realized she couldn't, she let me hold it. Her tears flowed even harder. I hurriedly took out tissues to wipe them from her cheeks. Just then, the MC walked out with the microphone. Welcome, dear guests. At this sacred moment of Miss Gardenia and Mr. Damien's wedding, let's first watch a VCR. Let's witness the sweet memories of the couple's relationship. Thunderous applause filled the hall. I leaned close to Vanessa's ear and whispered, the real show is about to start. I had already bribed the hotel staff and replaced the VCR. The large LED screen lit up instantly, but the footage was not some sweet romantic montage. It was the office of a hospital. Damien was talking to his attending physician. Damien slipped a red envelope discreetly into the doctor's hand, his face full of flattering smiles. "Uncle, can you make my medical report sound more serious? Just write that I only have a few weeks left to live." The doctor weighed the envelope, his smile turning more amused. "Damien, you're always causing trouble. You can fool her for a moment, but not for a lifetime. That Gardenia will learn the truth one day." Damien curled his lip dismissively. "It's fine, as long as she agrees to hold the wedding with me. I'll coax her into getting the marriage certificate afterward. Once the rice is cooked and the meal is done, what does it matter if she finds out? I'll just throw a tantrum, act like I'm dying. Knowing her, she'll soften up eventually. I've already figured Gardenia out completely. She's never escaping the palm of my hand in this lifetime." The video then shifted to a collection of Damien's intimate photos with different women during his years abroad. The scale of it was shocking, jaw-droppingly explicit. The moment the VCR played, the entire venue erupted. All the guests turned toward Damien at once, their eyes filled with shock and disbelief. Damien was already scared out of his wits. His face turned ghostly pale, and his body trembled. "And no, that's not true." Damien shook his head wildly, shouting hysterically, "This VCR is fake. Someone set me up." He lunged to grab Gardenia's hand. "Gardenia, believe me, my feelings for you are genuine." But Gardenia was already crying uncontrollably, her eyes filled with deep regret. She suddenly flung off his hand and slapped him hard across the face. "Genuine? Damien, I treated you like a real brother, and you played me like a fool. Damien, you bastard. Get out." Gardenia cried as if her heart were being torn apart, frantically searching for me among the crowd. I had already slipped away quietly with Vanessa. Damien completely collapsed under the pointing fingers and contemptuous stares of the guests. He alternated between screaming and cursing. In the end, like a dead dog, he was forcibly dragged away by his parents. The guests also tactfully took their leave one after another. The grand wedding had become a complete and utter joke. That night, Gardenia called me more than a dozen times. I was annoyed and directly blocked all her contact information. I even told Vanessa to block her as well. The day after the wedding fiasco, as soon as I arrived downstairs at the company building, I saw Gardenia. She looked haggard, her hair messy, with thick dark circles under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept at all the entire night. When she saw me, tears instantly flooded her eyes. She rushed over and grabbed me. "Chris, I was wrong. I should have trusted you." Damien was a liar. "Chris, why did you move? Why did you block me? Are you mad at me?" I stepped back and flung her hand away. "Miss Moo, we've already broken up. Please show some self-respect." That form of address froze her completely. Her tears flowed even harder. "Chris, after more than 6 years together, you're calling me Miss Moo? 6 years?" I let out a cold laugh as I looked at her. "When you kept choosing to trust Damien without hesitation, did you ever think about our 6 years together?" Her voice broke, full of pleading. "Chris, I know I was wrong. Please, I'm begging you, forgive me." "Okay." Damien acted too well. I never imagined he'd even dare fake medical records. "Enough." I cut her off sharply. "Gardenia, you were with him all this time, shopping with him, going out to play, drinking together. His complexion was perfect. Which part of him looked like someone in late-stage cancer? You expect me to believe you didn't see it? You clearly knew Damien had bad intentions toward you, but you still let him cross boundaries again and again. You even held a wedding with him. Gardenia, what right do you have to stand here asking for my forgiveness?" She opened her mouth, but couldn't utter a single rebuttal. It was rush hour for work. I didn't want to waste more time arguing with her. I signaled the security guards to restrain her and turned to enter the building. Behind me came her heart-wrenching cries. "Chris, I was wrong. Please listen to me. Okay, the one I've always loved is you." In the next few days, Gardenia stopped going to work. She stayed downstairs at the company all day long, standing there like a stone waiting for a husband, motionless. These days, I never left from the main entrance after work. I always went in and out through the underground parking lot. That day, I had just finished work and took the elevator down to the parking garage. Gardenia suddenly darted out from some corner. She rushed toward me to hug me, but I pushed her away instantly. "Chris, I've been thinking a lot these past few days. The one I truly love is you. Nothing happened between Damien and me. We're completely innocent. Please give me another chance." "Chris, I was wrong. I was really wrong." She struggled to get up quickly and tried to throw herself at me again, trying to hold my hand, but I dodged. She missed and fell again. This time she could only sit on the cold ground, crying her heart out. I looked down at her from above. "Miss Moo, I already made myself very clear last time. We're over. Whether anything happened between you two, Whether you're innocent or not, has absolutely nothing to do with me. We were together for 6 years. You know me well. Once I decide something, it's nearly impossible to change. Miss Moo, I don't love you anymore. And don't come bothering me ever again. Keep some dignity for both of us. After saying that, I didn't look at her again. I got into my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, she collapsed on the ground, burying her head and crying. Later, I heard from friends. The doctor was dismissed. Damien kept pestering Gardenia relentlessly. He waited for her every day, at her workplace, at her residence. They had countless explosive arguments. Gardenia finally couldn't take it anymore. During yet another confrontation when he blocked her on the staircase, she snapped and shoved him hard. Damien tumbled down the stairs and became paralyzed. They said he would be bedridden for life, with no chance of recovery. Gardenia was arrested by the police and faced charges of intentional injury. They said she might get 5 to 6 years. A few days later, I received a letter from Gardenia, sent from the detention center. Chris, I'm sorry. I think that if Damien had never appeared, I would already be your wife. I know it's too late to say this now. I brought all of this on myself. I'm sorry. I wish you happiness. A year and a half later, my company successfully went public. The next day, Vanessa gave birth to our first child. Truly a double celebration. I held the weak, exhausted Vanessa tightly in my arms and pressed a gentle kiss on her forehead. Darling, I love you. Vanessa gripped my hand firmly. Honey, I love you too.